Okay, hello and welcome back to Casual Fan. So today's podcast is about the current Manchester United form. So let's begin. So, Jaren, what do you make of United's current form?
Yeah, I think they've been pretty impressive, since the restart of lockdown, and
Yeah,
they've been stellar. They've been very good as a team, and especially since the addition of Bruno Fernandes, the dynamic has changed. They've been
yeah,
more attacking,
yeah. It
and
is
they
true. Yeah,
scored a lot of goals.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
and a lot of academy products have stepped up, and the team is playing more like a team, than it was they were playing before some time back.
yeah.
So yeah, I think they're heading towards the right path.
The fact that they made a very big comeback after the lockdown is very impressive, considering that they won by big margins. So, isn't that a sign?
Yeah, but then again they have kind of slipped for the past three games. But then that is okay. It's football. Anything can happen. But they've been pretty impressive. Because they won by huge margins. I think they won three games consecutively by a three-goal margin, which is I think it was a record. The first Premier League team to ever do it. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, they've been scoring a lot of goals. I think over the years, one of the problems that United faced was not enough goals.
Yeah,
So I think with this attack,
yeah,
that has been. I think that problem has been resolved to some
yes.
extent.
Yeah, talking about the attack, the what's really beautiful about their matches is that even when they win by big margins, all their forwards are involved in the goal. It's not just one key man. Okay, if there's a pivotal player who can be named, it's obviously Bruno Fernandes. But then when you look at the score lines and the way they play, all the forwards are involved in the goal. It's not just a one man team anymore. Isn't that really good?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what football is about? It's about team play, and so yeah, it is. I mean, they are acting like a unit,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
there's no, even though Bruno Fernandes kind of stands out when they play, there is no star player, so it's kind of evenly distributed. They have a link up, so that's really good to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, comparing to last season, what do you think came new with Solskjaer?
I think the main thing is I think you have to give every manager some time. If like when Zidane came to Real Madrid, he had an instant connection, but then that needn't be the case for every club. I think Solskjaer, even when Solskjaer came, he had a good run. He had a very good run,
Yeah, the
and
start.
then
Yeah, the
he
starting
kind of
games. Yes, exactly.
yeah, and again it dropped. So, but then I think now he has a connection with the team. He kind of has an understanding with the players, and I don't think it's just Bruno Fernandes that that helped Manu become this big, but this better. But again, I think I've never considered Ole to be a tactical genius, but he has his statics are good enough, and I think he motivates the players. And obviously, he's a United legend, and he has that passion, and he wants to bring the club back to its
Glory.
former
Yeah,
glory. And yeah, so yeah, I think that passion and the mentality and the confidence he gives his players is
is
probably
immense. Yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah. What I make of Solskjaer is the fact that he's brought United back to a top form. I mean, when I say top form, I don't mean like a top three contender, but then a spirit which they lost 2 3 seasons ago. With his arrival and the young players stepping up, it seems like they
but not
headed in
two
a.
three, 2 3. I think it's been the same for like the past 6 years. I mean, ever since Ferguson left.
Okay, but then okay, the reason why I didn't say Ferguson leaving fact, it's like when Mourinho took charge, they finished second. So wasn't that good enough?
Yeah, that was good enough. That was good because I think after finishing second that season, Mourinho said, that
That was his
this
greatest
is one of his
achievement. Yeah.
greatest, achievements ever. So yeah, I mean, like when he said that at that time, we were all mocking him, but then we understood what he meant the next season. When the I think the worst season happened.
Yeah. So talking about Solskjaer and what they're doing right now, do you think they can finish at the top of the table next season?
Top of the table next season.
Yeah.
I don't know because I think all the top six clubs have been investing a lot,
Yeah.
and especially if you look at Chelsea or even United. United hasn't they haven't started their transfer business yet, but I don't think they'll be in for a lot of big money players.
I mean,
Probably
do you
Sancho,
I
which
mean,
is
do you think they need a new player in their squad with the squad
I
which
think
they have and Bruno coming in? What do you think is much needed for them?
I think this is something that's probably a bit too much. But if United can get their hands on Koulibaly, that's going to change their game.
But isn't
But
Maguire good
again,
enough for a defense?
no, no, no. I really like Maguire. I hadn't seen him play ever. Then I saw the World Cup, and I was really impressed with the way he played. He played that center. He played the center back. He played in the center of that three center back system, and he
Yeah.
was so amazing. Carried the ball forward. It was an amazing display, and I was like, "Who's this player? I've never seen him." And yeah, so I was really excited when United signed him, and I think going forward that he's going to be a I think he's going to do better. I don't think. See,
Yeah.
I really like him as a player, but I think he had his highs and lows. But I think over time, he'll be better,
Yeah, exactly.
become better.
Considering he came for a big amount of money, I feel like he has to step up even though he is a player with a lot of potential and he has the leadership quality. So hopefully next season he can bring a lot to this team. So talking about the players that came in, so what do you make of the new signings and the comeback of the existing players of their forms?
Okay. New signings include, I think, Bruno Fernandes
Yeah,
was. Yeah,
yeah,
Bruno Fernandes. I mean, his stats speaks for themselves.
yeah.
Like his impact has been dynamic. Like
Out of all
in
the
ways that we
signings, he
couldn't
has been
even
the most.
possibly
Yeah,
imagine.
exactly. I mean, out of
Yeah,
all the signings, he has been the most important one out of them.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But again, like I really like his style of play. I've seen him in some of the Portugal games, and his biggest quality is that he just takes shots randomly. Like if he gets the ball outside the box, it's either an ball into the box or into the goal. So yeah, he's that kind of player who kind of who's always lurking for a chance. So yeah, that and he is very creative, which is something that Man United
has
lack.
been
That
missing for a
midfield.
long time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Pogba is there, but then this season Pogba is injured, and
Yeah,
under Mourinho, Pogba was given a much deeper role, which
yeah,
kind of didn't allow him to do what he did in Juventus.
yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
and then Daniel James. Daniel James is yeah, I know that he has not been as good as as he was before, but he's a player that I'm really excited about because he's insanely fast, like
Yeah,
really fast, and he's got pretty good dribbling skills and shooting skills, and so and he's still pretty much 21, I guess 20 or 21, so that's very young,
yeah,
and yeah, I think he's a future asset for them.
yeah.
I'm not going to judge him based on because he came from Swansea to Manchester United, and so maybe it might take him some time to adjust. But considering that, even then he scored a number of goals. I think in the starting of the season when they won against Chelsea 1-0, I think he was the one who scored. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah, I think
Talking about
he'll do
the
pretty well.
talking about the new players that came in, we all can agree that they needed a right back very fast, who was very fast with the ball, who was
Yes.
very good with defending, and I feel like Aaron Van
Yeah.
Bissaka was the right transfer for them. The fact
Yes,
that he's
definitely.
the fact that he was a big money transfer, and like most of the people who don't turn out as good as they're expected, this man has stepped up in his position. So that has
Yeah.
been a good positive way for United. And
Van Bissaka is a beast. He's a beast because I don't think anyone can get past him if it's in a one-on-one situation. In
yeah,
one-on-one situation, Van Bissek is unbeatable. He's such an amazing player in
Yeah,
a one-on-one situation. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, and yeah,
And if you're talking about stepping up of players, let's talk about three people right now. First is
Fred, I guess.
Fred. Obviously, it's Fred. Then comes
Yes. Yeah.
Scott McTominay, and then
Okay.
the academy graduate Mason Greenwood.
Okay.
Out of all out of
Fred.
all these three, who do
Yeah.
you think has been the most pivotal this season?
Uh, I think it would be a tie between Fred and Greenwood, but maybe I think everyone is saying Greenwood, so I think I'll always also go a bit more with Greenwood. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Fred has been as equally important as Greenwood this season, because he came in for 52 million from Shakhtar,
Yeah,
and he was like such an important player. He's a very skillful. I mean, he's Brazilian. That kind of speaks for itself.
yeah,
And when he came, I think City was poaching at him at that time, and Man United hijacked that transfer and got him. And City got Rodri. Was it Rodri?
yeah.
I
Rodri,
forgot who it was. Yeah, yeah, and comparing, they both were like very um
expensive.
like yeah, not expensive. Rodri proved more useful.
Yeah,
So they kind of deemed him a failed signing last season, and he was, we all had given up on him.
yeah. He
But I
stepped up
think
this season very much.
yeah, he said, yeah, he's such an important player this season.
Yeah.
I've seen some games, and he plays pretty well.
Talking about
Kind of
yeah. So
dominates that midfield. Yeah.
yeah, so talking about all the players in United's position, do you feel like right back is all right? Center back can step up. So do you feel like only left back is a place they need to reinforce, or will Luke Shaw be enough for them?
I've always liked Luke Shaw. Even when he was getting criticism, I always liked him.
Fine, but is he
Um,
good enough for United, seeing the quality they have at the rest of the positions?
yeah, it is a problem because he doesn't necessarily step up when needed, and sometimes he gets injured. But one positive thing that United can look forward to is a youngster called Brandon Williams. Now he's been pretty amazing in all the games he has played. So yeah, that's something that and they had the left back that they were using before Shaw was young,
Yeah.
which did not really work out because uh, he's not a great left back. He's been doing pretty well at Inter, but then
Okay.
and he didn't kind of live up to expectations at United. But you really can't blame him because he was a winger and he changed his position to that. So yeah.
Okay. If there was one player you would want United to sell, who would that be from the current squad?
Uh, and that is a hard question. Uh,
For me personally, I would say Lingard. At this point, he's just a liability. Will you agree
okay,
with that?
Lingard, yes. Okay. What if I asked you to sell a member of the starting 11? Who would you do?
If I had to sell someone from the starting level with this current squad, I don't see anyone from the starting 11 going other than Shaw. Because I feel like United is more
No, no,
pro.
no. I'm not saying. I'm asking about a hypothetical situation in which if you had to sell one of the starting 11, who would it be?
Can I say Phil Jones? I mean, even though Lindelof is
No, no, no.
playing,
No, I'm talking about the important players. Consider like Matic, De Gea, um, all those people, including all those people.
uh,
Marshall.
okay, out of all these players, I would say Matic. The reason why I say Matic is because McTominay is stepping up. He's playing much better than Matic. So for future needs, I think McTominay is more reliable than Matic.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think the reason they keep Matic is kind of to increase the depth of that midfield.
Yeah.
And he's
But
a
Matic
squad
is
player
not
too.
an creative midfielder, isn't that right?
Yeah, but then he plays a defensive role. He plays as a CDM between the two. If it's in a 4-3-3, he plays the CDM in that
Okay.
formation. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean he's an amazing player. Obviously, the form has gone down with the age because he's I think 32,
Yeah.
and that's pretty old for a footballer. So kind of excusable, but he's had his good games as well. I think got a 1 year contract, 1 or 2 year contract recently.
Yeah.
So
Ta-
yeah,
Talking about United's forwards, I don't feel like we can pinpoint at any one of them saying something bad in which they have to work on. I mean, okay, before lockdown, we can point out and say certain things, but then with the current squad, with how they're playing, I feel like all of them have been stepping up. Even the player who came from loan, Igolo, has been playing really well. I mean, look at the players: Rashford, Igolo, Mason Greenwood, Anthony Martial. All of these players have been very vital to United's success in recent games. So we can, I feel like for me, I believe in them. Next season, they can do very well with the squad.
yeah, I think out of those attacking players, if I had to replace one, I would probably choose Marshall.
I mean, he's the one
It's
who
not
scored the
anything.
most goals
Yeah, yeah,
after.
yeah, but
Yeah,
he's someone who's been very inconsistent and injury stricken, and but yeah, he is a great player. But I'm just saying, if I had to replace, but then as the things stand, right, they have a pretty good attacking lineup. So yeah,
okay.
that looks
Is
pretty
this
good.
is this attacking line the best in Premier League? Debatable.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say so. No, I mean, yeah, it's close, but I think Mane, Salah, and Bobby is probably the best.
Even now,
Yeah,
I mean,
irrespective of the goals, because
okay, yeah. I
Salah
mean,
was injured a lot.
there's no denying how Liverpool have been performing. But after lockdown, do you think they were impressive, the trio, or were United's forwards more impressive?
Okay, and maybe maybe then I guess I could root for United, the front three.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
yes. Yeah.
now let's move on to the main question: can United finish top four this season with just one game
Uh,
remaining?
well, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. And that would be pretty impressive, given where they were at the starting of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a huge statement from the club. What they're able to do. So,
Yeah.
and I believe that they can, because Leicester is the next game, right?
Yeah. Leicester is the
And
last match.
Leicester hasn't been
Good
that
enough after
amazing.
lockdown, right?
Yeah, after lockdown they have kind of comparing to the team that was present during the starting of the season. That team was amazing. Everyone was well. But
Yeah.
then again, Leicester, if you're talking about Leicester, Chilwell is injured, Madison is injured, Pereira is injured, so that's like a huge part of the game, part of the team, especially like someone like Madison. So yeah,
If,
and the only thing that Man United has to kind of worry about is that it's an away game.
yeah.
But even then, I think they can like win, maybe like somehow squeeze a win, probably 1-2 or something.
Even
Yeah,
for me personally, I believe United will finish fourth in Premier League, considering how they've been. But here's a catch: they just have one match remaining, and they have to get a draw or a win. A loss means they could go back to being fifth.
yeah.
So
Well, that is a situation, very tricky situation for them. And I think Chelsea are facing Wolves next, and Chelsea and Man United are both on 6 points.
yeah,
I mean, 63 points. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting day in the
yeah,
Premier League.
yeah.
But yeah, and yeah, it'll
So
be something.
so for you, if you wanted to see some team in Champions League, who would it be? Leicester or United?
Uh, I would say Arsenal, but then that's not possible.
Nice one.
So I would say, um, dude, that's not a fair question to me because I'm an Arsenal fan. So I can
Yeah.
United is like what do you say our lifelong, what do you say, all-time rival, and Chelsea's opponent, London club. So even if I had to choose, I guess I would go for Chelsea because I don't want United to succeed too much. Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think about the hair situation?
I feel like for me personally, I don't say De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the world. I know he's top, but then for me personally, I won't say he is at the very top, considering he has not been stepping up at the main matches of of national team and club. I mean, we saw what happened in World Cup against Portugal, and we saw what happened against Chelsea. The last match they played against Chelsea, in which they lost 3-1. I wouldn't rely on him personally or completely, but then I know he's a good keeper and he can do well. I'm not I'm not trying to ignore all the things that he's done in the past for United, being the best player in the squad, but he is good, and I don't think they need a replacement for him. But he can step up in the important games. And for you,
I think for me, I remember like when I was like probably 5 6 years ago. I remember going up on YouTube, and I always used to watch his videos. Dave saves, and I was always amazed because he makes the most insane saves, and I was always impressed with him. And there was a long time of period where I used to think that he was best goalkeeper in the world. You know, especially considering what he had done for Man United and all those years. I think he was player of the season for 3 to 4 years. So he kind of carried the team. If you look at like Instagram comments on the post before, people used to say if it weren't for the hair, Man United would be playing in the championship, and that is kind of quite extent. But
yeah.
after the World Cup, he has kind of there has been a significant, not a significant, but still a kind of a dip in his form. He's been like very clumsy
Yeah.
a lot of times, and you as a goalkeeper, you can't afford that. Because a clumsiness leads to a goal for the opponent.
Yeah.
That's a huge blow
So for you
to
personally, do
like.
you think they need another goalie for?
Well, they have Dean Henderson, and whether they are ready to call him back
Yeah.
is an option. Is a decision. Is a huge decision that they'll have to take
So
because
so
if
if
Dean Henderson comes back in, the hair will feel threatened.
yeah.
So that's not like a. It's a huge important decision.
Yeah. Okay, so if Dean Henderson comes, do you want him to start or just give a competition for the hair?
I would rather have him give a competition rather than him starting.
Okay, just to step
Yeah,
up
I
his
guess.
game.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Okay.
maybe who knows? That kind of pressure might help the to be better, but to perform better. But then I don't know.
Okay.
One more question: like, out of the two teams, Chelsea and United, who do you want to go to Europe next season? Champion.
For me personally, I would say United between these two because I feel like they can bring much more entertainment to the European sport. I mean, I mean, United, deny it or allow it. I mean, United is the biggest club in the world, even though they are not having a good form in the past years.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Seeing all these elite and young stars in the squad, I feel like United should be the ones who should qualify for next year's Champions League. And for you?
like I said, I guess I would. I think I would go with Chelsea.
Okay, just because you don't like United. No.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I am being a bit biased, but yeah. I mean, like,
If you want biased, what
I
who
mean,
would you go with?
I think I would still go. Oh, okay. I think I would go with United again. No, it's a very hard. It's a very hard comparison because these two were my like. I mean, they are teams that I still like, but not as much as before.
But
But
now
there
you
was
see them as
always,
rivals, obviously. Yeah.
yeah. But then there's always that kind of flair about these two teams, especially United, because Cristiano played there, and I know that's not a factor now, but that
Yeah.
that kind of feeling is always there about the club, right?
Okay. Now
And
let
I think it's probably bigger than United, Barca, and not at the moment, but as historically speaking, I guess.
United is
That
the biggest club
name,
in the world. Yeah.
yeah, the name. Because when we were kids, the first club I knew when I was small was United. I remember having this Beckham shirt,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What is this?"
Exactly. United
So
brings different emotions to all the people around the globe who support the sport of football.
yeah,
So, talking about United, now let's move on to the main question. Do you think United is back to their glory days?
I think that's far ahead.
Far ahead?
They have. I mean, they have some distance around to go for that. If you're talking about the glory days, if the days you're referring to is like the class of '92, which includes Neville, Giggs, Scholes, and all those people, or even the later squad, Park Ji-sung, Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez. Compared to that, obviously they have to go a little more to reach that kind of level.
Yeah.
But for a team who has been, kind of, who hasn't lived any up to any expectations for so many years, looking at that, this squad is pretty impressive.
They can make
With
something
that,
out of it, but could not be next season. For next season, I believe they can finish in top 4 easily.
yeah, I think what United needs to improve is the recruitment process, because a lot of a big important factor in United's demise is the transfers they have made.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the forwards in the last few years, Di Maria, all of thing is the thing that's sad is all the class and world class players. Falcao, Di Maria, Lukaku,
Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez. So I don't think anyone can understand what exactly went wrong, because all these players.
Were world class, but then they didn't fit to the squad. Yeah. So, with that, I feel like we've covered pretty much what we wanted to. So, for more, please do tune in, subscribe, like, and share, and do leave your comments in the comment section. Thank you.